Good morning. My name is Ralf Friedrichs. I'm an addiction recovery coach, a life coach, host of this show, To Take Your Life Back, today's show, and radio show. And don't forget, I'm also an author of 2 books with a 3rd book coming out. Friends, the sin of tolerance. One of the pet words of this age is tolerance. It is a good word, but we have tried to stretch it over to a great area of our lives. We have applied it to often where it doesn't even belong. The word tolerant means liberal, broad-minded, willing to put up with beliefs opposed to one's convictions, and the allowance of something not wholly approved. Tolerance in one sense implies the compromise of one's convictions, a yielding of ground upon important issues. Hence, over-tolerance is more in issues has made us soft, flabby, devoid of conviction. We have become tolerant about divorce. We have become tolerant about the use of alcohol and drugs. We have become tolerant about delinquencies. We have become tolerant about wickedness in high places. We have become tolerant about immorality. We have become tolerant about crime. And we have become tolerant about godlessness. We have become tolerant of unbelief. In a book recently published on the prominent people believe 60 out of 100 did not even mention God, and only 11 out of 100 mentioned Jesus. There was a manifest tolerance towards soft character and broad-mindedness about morals, characteristic of our day. We have been sapped of conviction, drained of our beliefs, and bereft of our faith. The way is very narrow. The sciences, however, call for narrow-mindedness. There is no room for broad-mindedness in the laboratory. Water boils at 212 degrees Fahrenheit at sea level. It's never 100 degrees, nor is it 189 degrees, but always 212. Water freezes at 32, not at 23 or 31. Objects heavier than air are always attracted to the center of the earth. They always go down, never go up. I know this is very narrow, but the law of gravity decrees it so, and science is very narrow. Take mathematics, for instance. The sum of 2 plus 2 is 4, not 3.5. This or that seems very narrow, but arithmetic is not broad. Neither is geometry. It says that a straight line is the shortest distance between 2 points. That seems very dogmatic and narrow, but geometry is intolerant. A compass will always point to the magnetic north. It seems that it's very narrow view, but a compass is not very broad-minded. If it were, all ships at sea and all planes in the air would be in danger each and every day. Friends, if you should ask a man the direction to New York City and he said, "Oh, just take any road you wish, they all lead to there," you probably would question either his sanity or his truthfulness. Somehow we have gotten into our minds that all roads lead to heaven. You hear people say, "Do your best, be honest, be sincere, and you will make it to heaven." All right, my friends. But Jesus Christ, who journeyed from heaven to earth and back to heaven again, who knew the way better than any man who ever lived, said, "Enter ye in a straight gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and may there be which go in thereat. Because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth into life, and few there be that find it." In Matthew 7:13-14. Jesus was narrow about the way of salvation. He plainly pointed out that there are 2 roads in life. One is broad, lacking in faith, conviction, and morals. It is easy, popular, careless way. It is the way of the crowd, the way of the majority of the people, the way of the world, he said. Many there be that go in thereat. But he pointed out that this road, easy though it is, popular though it may be, heavily traveled through, leads to destruction. Sorry about the train in the background. And in loving compassion and tolerance, he says, enter ye in at the straight gate, because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth into life. Do you see that there's a fork in the road all the time? Our Lord is tolerance. His ways has tolerance of a pilot who maneuvers his plane through the storm, realizing that a single error, just one flash of broad-mindedness, might bring disaster to those passengers on the plane. Once, while flying from, I think it was from Korea to Japan, we ran through a rough snowstorm. And when we arrived over the airport in Tokyo, the ceiling and visibility were almost zero. The pilot had to make an instrument landing. I sat up and looked out the window and watched people around me just sweating it out. And that plane was brought to the ground by control approach. A man at the tower at the airport, I heard, was talking to the pilot. I did not want, the pilot said, I didn't want the pilot to be broad-minded, because he knew that our lives depended on it, just so that when we come in for the landing in a great airport in heaven, I don't want any broad-mindedness. I want to come in on the beam, and even though I may be considered narrow here, I want to be sure of a safe landing there. Christ was so intolerant of man's lost estate that he left his lofty throne in the heavenlies, took on himself in the form of a man, suffered at the hands of evil men, and died on the cross to purchase our redemption. So serious was man's flight that he could not look upon it lightly. With the love that was his, he could not be broad-minded about the world, held captive by its lusts, its appetites, and its sins. Having paid such a price, he could not be tolerant about man's indifference towards him and the redemption he had wrought. He said, he that is not with me is against me, in Matthew 12:30. He also said that he that believeth on the Son hath everlasting life, and he that believeth not the Son shall not see life, but the wrath of God abideth upon him. That was in John 3:36. He spoke of two roads to two kingdoms, two masters, two rewards, and two eternities. And ye said, he cannot serve God and mammon, Matthew 6:24. We have the power to choose whom we will serve, but the alternative to choosing Christ brings certain destruction. Christ said that the broad, wide, easy, popular way leads to death and destruction. Only way of the cross leads home. Playing both sides, the popular, the tolerant attitude towards the gospel of Christ is like a man going to watch the Braves and the Dodgers play baseball and rooting for both sides. It would be impossible for a man who has no loyalty a particular team to really get into a game should he root that way. Baseball fans are very intolerant in both cities. If you would cheer for both sides in Los Angeles, someone would yell and say, hey, make up your mind. Who are you rooting for? Christ said, ye cannot serve God and mammon, nor man can serve two masters, in Matthew 6:24. One of the sins of the age is the sin of broad-mindedness. We need more people who will step out and say unashamedly, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Folks, call me at 844-405-HELP, because together we can take our lives back. Be good to yourselves, be good to each other. Remember, a simple smile to a total stranger can help them forever and can change your life. And always remember that put God first. This beautiful Sunday, put God first. Put God first, and you will see that heaven will be waiting for you. And may God bless you, and take good care, and we'll talk to you guys real soon, like tomorrow. May God bless you. Take care. Bye.